Okay, beautiful people, we are going to continue on with our RP standards, and we're going to look at 6.RP.2, where we're talking about rates and understanding the concept of a rate as being A over B associated with the ratio A to B, where B cannot equal 0. Now, that sounds crazy, but basically what it boils down to is we're comparing two quantities with different units, like minutes per mile. No, that wouldn't be good. Let's do that the other way. Miles per, how many miles can you go in a certain minute? So miles per minute, or miles per hour. Let's use that one. Miles per hour, or the cost per amount. Those are examples of what you can do, or how you can use a number to compare. When they say A over B, the A could be miles, the B could be hour. Now, that's only when the B cannot equal 0, because you're comparing things, and that you have to have a certain number of things in order for the ratio to work out. When you look at what we're doing, the rate is the comparison of two quantities that have different units. And here in this relationship where we have miles per hour, if you look at where he drove 107 miles in 2 hours, this is the rate that he's showing, and you got the miles and hours are two different things. When I write the rate for one of those, I can say 1 hour. To get from 2 to 1, that's dividing by 2. If I divide both the top and the bottom by 2, I'm going to see that in 1 hour, they're going to go 53.5 miles. So actually, the speed would be 53.5 miles per 1 hour. This is showing how far they go in 1 hour, how far they go in 2 hours. Notice that I labeled the rates. In a lot of these, you need to identify the relationships, and when you set up the ratios, you want to keep those ratios and things the same. Now, on this one, I've already done one of them, but that's because I used the book as an example for somebody. But I want you to look at where they're comparing the cost for equal amounts of juice. Now, this is one brand of juice. This is the second brand of juice. You could find the unit rate and then multiply it times each value, or you could do the same thing here. They divided both sides all the way down until they got to 1. Here you could do the same thing. If you look at here where it's an odd number and it ends in 5, so they divided both sides by 5. So if we divide 450 divided by 5, 9 times 5 is 45, so that would be 90 cents. Remember, we're talking money, so you put the 0, and if I divide 90 by 5, I don't know what that is. Oh, that's 18, because 20 times 5 is 100. That's right, 18, 0.18. So 1 would be 18 cents, 5 would be 90 cents, 25 would be 450. If we're looking at the cost per ounce to compare, you'll notice that brand A is 24 cents per ounce, 0.24 I should put, and B is 0.18 cents per ounce. So B is a better buy because you get more for your money. B, because it costs less, or I would say better value. Or you could say you get more for your money, however you want to represent that. And if we look at unit rates and like the cost for one, that's what we did here. We found what the cost for 1 ounce was in both of these, and we were able to compare the prices, the 24 to an 18. Now, another method, instead of dividing both sides by the same value going down, you could also find the unit rate, like how much one would cost, just one bottle or 1 ounce, you would take the price divided by the number of ounces, and like we did here, and that way you would find that there's 24 cents for 1 ounce. And the same thing here, if we did the 450 divided by the 25 ounces, that would give us the cost of 1 ounce. Now, I know that 25 won't go into 4, but it will go into 45 one time. And then I have, let's see, 1 times 25 is 25, 0. That's going to be 20, and bring down your 0. So 25 goes into 200 8 times. So that's how we get our 18 cents for this. And you can clearly see that brand B is the better value here. Now, that second method where I found the cost of 1 ounce, that's called the unit rate. So you could find the unit rate by dividing the price by the ounces. Now, if I were to set that up like a ratio model, it would look like this. If I know that, let's look at the 450. If I have the $4.50 and 25 ounces, when I divide down this divided by this, 1 ounce then would be 18 cents. And that is showing you the ratio. So here we have money over ounces. Okay. Now let's talk about the unit rate, because when you talk about a unit rate, that's the big part of what we're doing here. But basically, let me go this way. Okay, there we go. Basically, the unit rate is a rate in which the second quantity is 1 unit. And you always want to set it up so whatever quantity that you're solving for to be that unit will be on the bottom. The unit rate is sometimes called the unit cost or the unit price, but really unit means 1. So we're looking for the price for just 1 item. And when you set it up, you would have whatever you're solving for with the 1 on the bottom. Let me show you this example. Here they've got $90 will give you 6 classes. If I take 90 and divide it by 6, that tells me then that 1 class is going to cost $15, because 90 divided by 6 is 15 and 6 divided by 6 is 1. So to go from 6 to 1, you're dividing by 6. So whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. To find the unit rate, you divide both quantities by the same number so that the second quantity is going to be 1. And here you can see they have the money over the classes, the money for 1 class, the money over the cartons, the money for 1 carton, the miles over the minutes, the distance for 1 minute. So that's how you would set those up and work through those. And it doesn't really seem to be that difficult if you remember that whatever you do to the top, you're always going to do to the bottom. And that's what we have here. The first quantity in a unit rate can be less than 1. And that is something that you need to keep in mind, because remember, we're dealing with things that are less than 1 whole. And you could actually cut, if I had a half a pound of peanuts to start with, then my first value is going to be 1/2 of a pound. I hope that makes sense. All right, so let's look at the example in your book where you got the people that are mowing the grass. We can solve problems and look at the models and stuff here, but I want to, wait a minute. Let's look at, we're going to do that. Let's look at the example on the bottom. If you look at how you can use this diagram to find a unit rate in A, then we'll look at, if you have 6 yoga classes is $90, then 1 yoga class, if you look at what we have, is going to be 15, because if you had this 15 times 6 And I'm just trying to show you that each one of those 15s, this goes with the first example. If you have 6 yoga classes is $90, so 1 yoga class would be $15. I hope you can see that there. That's just a model for the classes. So we have that showing the $90 for 6 classes. And if we did 1 class, 6 divided by 6 is 1, 90 divided by 6 is 15. So that's 2 different ways to express that. All right, now let's turn over to the question about the boys mowing the grass. If you would please turn over to page 159. And let's talk about comparing the costs between some people. When you look at what these guys are doing, mowing the yard, you got to think about some stuff before you set up these questions. You're looking at Taryn and Alistair. I don't know where they get these names, but it's showing the number of lawns that they mow, the time that they spent mowing, and how much money they earn. Now you can see here, when we compare them, Taryn mowed more yards and spent more time mowing, but he made less money than Alistair did. And what you need to look at is how you would figure out what it is per hour or per lawn. If I look at how much does Taryn charge to mow a lawn, I'm going to take the money earned, which would be the money, divided by the number of lawns, and that would tell me how much that he mows per lawn. So if I did 112.50 and divide that by the 9, then that shows me that he charges $12.50 per lawn. Likewise, for Alistair, I would take the money, the one, did I do 122.50 or 112? 122.50 divided by his lawns. Let me see. Yeah, if I take the 122.50 and divide that by the number of lawns that Alistair did, that was 7, then that's going to be $17.50 per yard, okay? So here, if I do the number of lawns, if he did 9, that's $12.50 per lawn. Because we had $112.50 for 9 lawns. And likewise, Alistair is going to be $17.50 per lawn. And 7 lawns is going to cost $122.50. So clearly, Alistair earns more money than Taryn, because you see he makes $12.50, he makes $17.50. Now, when you look at these and you're comparing, and you look at how much they would have to make in order to make an extra $735, you're going to have to look at the rates that they use and divide that by what they make per rate, and that would divide out and show, how their each rate would show if it changes, or how many hours extra they would have to work to get the $735. So the table is charging by the hour or by the lawn. Now, if we look at this, we want to find out how many hours, but we don't know what the cost is per hour. So here you would take to find the hourly rate, you take the money earned and divide it by the hours. So 112.50 divided by 7.5, and I am using a calculator just for the time's sake. So he makes $15 an hour, and clearly his friend makes way more, $122.50 divided by 5 hours. He makes $24.50 an hour. So you could take their hourly rates and divide into the $735 and find out how much each would be. Okay? Now, your assignment for this, you're going to look on the board and get the problem numbers that we're doing. I just wanted to do this multi-step problem with you to show you how that would be broken down, and I hope this helps. Remember, we got to set them up, sort them out, and then solve them. I think we're done.